Proceed. It was dope, IQ.
Hey, what's happening? What's happening, world? What's going on? Back at you again with another episode of the 426 show, where we take things, try to make evens out of the things going on in this odd world today. And I got my guy here with me again today for the next episode here. My dude, Big OC.
What's
What's going
happening?
on
What's
with you,
happening?
brother?
I'm good.
Hey,
I'm good.
man.
I'm good, man.
Yeah, we're back at it
Yeah.
again, man. Good to have you on the show, man. You know, you're a good addition to the show. You know, help us keep moving forward. Much appreciated. And I want to shout out my boy behind the scenes, one of the producers of the show as well, my boy Ratio. You know, making everything look nice and crispy,
What
making
up,
sure we sound
Ratio?
right. Yeah. So let's get it in, man. So what we like to do is we like to cover the current events and topics and all the fly stuff and everything going on. So I'm gonna talk about this right here almost caused the insurrection, man. This right here, yeah, this almost yeah, this serious business right here, man. It
Right.
almost caused it insurrection, man. McDonald's, they got the high C, they discontinued it, right? But now they're bringing it back on the market, man. They're bringing it back by popular demand, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So
You know,
you know,
I had not. I didn't know it had been gone off the market for years.
yeah, they took it off the market, man. But they got it back. They got it back on the in stock. You know, by high demand. You know, a lot of customers were upset. You know, it's been a staple for McDonald's since forever. You know, so they brought it back, and now everybody's excited. Me personally, I don't really partake in McDonald's or anything like that. But I saw it going across Twitter, you know. And when I did eat McDonald's back in the day when I was a little shorty or whatnot, I did partake in the high C, the orange high C. Can never go wrong with the orange high C, man. You know.
Right. It. I don't really drink soda. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now
And
this
so
is
I don't
juice
look
though.
at exactly. I
This
don't
the
look at
juice.
high C as soda. So when I show up at McDonald's, I always say, what do you want to drink? Give me the high C. And I remember when the
Right.
lady told me we ain't got no more high C, I told her to cancel my whole order that first go round.
Like
You know
cancel
what
the
I'm
whole
saying?
thing,
I was
man.
like, you know what? Just cancel everything I just said, man. And
No
just
high C
zoomed
is
on
not for
through.
me.
Exactly. That's a
Yeah.
that's a game breaker because you want to
Yeah.
have that refreshing, sugary orange, cold orange going down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they had no good replacement. That lemonade they got there is diet, so it was not
Right.
winning at all. So
Right. And then
yeah,
and then the machine's always down for the McFlurry. The machine always broken, you know.
exactly,
You know,
exactly.
so
So
you
yeah,
so now you're gonna take away the high C, you know.
and
They're
that's
asking
backed
for
by popular demand. By
yeah,
popular demand, I'm sure.
yeah.
You know
So
what I'm
it's
saying?
it's back in effect, man. But enough of the sweetener, man. Y'all need to drink more water out there, you know. Forget about all the sodas and all that. Get some more water in your body, man, you know. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it sound good.
you brought up this topic to me, man. That was pretty interesting. This Project 1619.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That the question that I asked, and I want to ask the audience out there to ask themselves is, do you guys believe slavery needs to continuously be taught in school? That's the question. Is that history that we should let go, or is that history that we should continue to teach students as they're coming up in school? That's what this article, um, made me think about.
yeah. My thing is like this. I mean, they don't need to harp on it, but there, if you're going to teach history in school, if you're going to cover all parts of history as far as this country as a nation, you can't just skip over slavery, just because it makes people feel uncomfortable or whatnot. I mean, it's an atrocity that happened on American soil that, we as black people are still recovering from to this day. So for them to skip over it, to me, it doesn't make any sense. And to me, it's like they're trying to whitewash history per usual. Like even when they show like, a lot of the old movies with slaves and whatnot, they try to show it like it was happy. It didn't even, they don't, the movies, most movies don't even begin to show the atrocities that people experienced during those days because it was real savagery. So for them to just try to brush over it, that's kind of suspect to me. And that's kind of lets me know that they don't want to take accountability for what happened in the past, and they're really trying to pass, Republicans really trying to pass legislation on this. It doesn't make any sense to me, but that's America for you.
I can see where the writer of the project is coming from, with what
Mm-hmm.
she's saying. And it was created by a black female named Nicole Hannah Jones. And she
Uh-huh.
actually won a Pulitzer Prize, for this,
Okay.
and she did it on the 400th anniversary of the first slaves that arrived to America, right, 1619 all the way up to 2019. So
Right.
what she's trying to say is America started with that slavery right there, but the people that are against it, their ideas are that no, America started with 1776, right? So
Right.
either way, the plight of the black man was no different in 1619 than it was in 1776. But if you read on, what you'll see is these same places want to have a curriculum for nationalism or to teach about America and the American way and American exceptionalism and all those things. So if you're going to teach American exceptionalism and the American way, where do you start? What year are they going to start?
Right.
And that's my issue. You can't just leave things out. But I understand in this country, they can create curriculum to create a certain mindset in the people. Because if you ask anybody today, you know, black people shouldn't even think about slavery anymore because none of the people living today were slaves. But that's just a myopic thinking that you get from this country and this country's education. Because if you have a grandparent that's alive, then slavery is still touching you in some
Yeah.
sort of way. If you black, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
I look at any of my grandparents; they didn't really get past second and third grade in school,
yeah.
and that wasn't because they weren't smart. It was because they happened to be black in the South.
Right. Yes. So like I said, at the end of the day, they could try to polish it and and try to smooth it over, but at the end of the day, it happened in this country, and they need to be held accountable. I mean, yeah, they say, well, there's no slaves alive today, but we're only like 2 generations removed from it, and we still feel the effects from it to this day as a whole. Not to say that we're victimized, like the right like to say, we're victims and living in victimhood. No, we're not saying that. What we're saying is we're acknowledging our ancestry. We're acknowledging where our roots, where we stem from, and just like any other culture does, whether you're Chinese, whether you're Irish, whether I mean, all countries, all cultures do it. So at the end of the day,
Right.
I mean, a Black American, part of Black American history, for a lot of people includes slavery. So it definitely should be talked about. Doesn't need to be dwelled upon, but it definitely needs to be talked about, not just brushed over like that wasn't part of our history, because it most definitely was a part of our history. Mhm.
When if any black people are going to study their history in particular, you don't get back any good spots. All the
Yeah,
spots are bad. So my whole thing is that if you try to take this part away, then what's the next part that gets taken
exactly,
away? You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Because just like the mind can easily be tricked. There's people out there that know how to manipulate people. I mean, we watch TV, and we understand the TV can make you want a hamburger or it can make you want to, jump out the window. It just
Right.
depends on your particular mindsets. So anything that they want to teach you, if they give it to you enough and give it to you in a particular way, you're going to believe it. And what they know is most people are not going to take the extra step to go in and do any research and get any information for themselves. Therefore, we have to continuously beat back disingenuous arguments like you weren't a slave, or like you said with the victimhood stuff. And
Yeah. The
that
victimhood,
word
yeah, victim.
victimhood only comes from somebody who hasn't looked at the situation with their heart. They're
Yeah,
looking at it with their mind and trying to be logical and trying to ultimately just be a contrarian or be negative about the situation. But if they truly looked at it with their heart, I believe they understand that they know something would have to change. And if that happens, then I believe there's some people that are against whatever change will come from people actually internalizing the things that Americans that have dark skin went through in this country.
yeah. I mean, and like I said, it is a part, as ugly as it is a part of American history. Like, for instance, on my mother's side of the family, they're descendants of Sally Hemings, um, who had children with Thomas Jefferson. You know,
Right.
so, and she was a slave. And they traveled to France, and she was allowed to travel with him to France and everything, but she wasn't recognized as his wife or anything. She was his concubine. She was his property, and then he didn't claim his children, or anything like that, but it's documented that they had kids together. And at the end of
At
the
least
day,
six,
yeah,
right? At
and
least six,
yeah. So that's history. That's American history. He's having that'd be like so she would have been like John F. Kennedy's Marilyn Monroe, except they didn't have kids, but he was having an affair with his slave. So for them to, like I said, for it not to be recognized and for them to try to take that out of the books, stuff like that, man, that's just taken away from history, from our history, which they already took. A lot of the history has already been taken and erased. So as well
But
as them
look how your ancestor dealt with Thomas Jefferson, right? So look at how the history, puts that out there. This country reveres Thomas Jefferson, right?
yeah,
And you would
yeah,
have to argue with somebody that only has an American education that he did anything wrong, right? But
right,
I ask simple questions. How old was Sally Hemings?
yeah. At that
When
time,
homeboy was putting babies in her, she was
yeah,
like 14,
yeah,
15.
yeah. She was barely, not even a grown woman.
But once again, the savagery of just people in general
Yeah,
who would look at her as, well, she was considered as property, so no
yeah,
big deal, no big deal,
yeah,
nothing to
yeah,
see here. And
yeah. Nothing to
that's
fear.
that's the manipulation that somebody could tell you, well, it wasn't illegal at that time, so that's why they did
Yeah,
it. But then I say, well, so you're telling me people's minds didn't tell them, hey, that's a little girl, or that
yeah.
don't seem right. There's all these women out here. It it's a crazy situation here in
And
this
not, and
country.
not only that, they talk about the values and whatnot of the country and the founding fathers and everything. But he was married. He was married with another. He was married to a woman, white lady, and then here he is. He's sleeping with his slaves. which wasn't looked down upon because they were considered property, weren't even considered,
Exactly.
human. So yeah, the
Exactly.
1619 project, man, and Republicans trying to just skip over it, slavery, trying to rewrite history, which I can't even say Republicans, but all, the powers that be all rewrote history already, man. So
Right.
it's
And
a
the thing
trip.
is, we just can't help them. We can't
Yeah,
assist in it. We have to push back on any of that anytime we see it.
yeah. But like you said, and don't like you said, how they do is they try to, here we go about slavery. I know black people as well. Like, I'm tired of hearing about slavery. I don't want to see a slave movie or this and that. I get it, because they act like our history only consists of slavery. So I get it. I get it. It gets redundant. It gets tiring. You get tired of hearing about that. It's like, what else? What else did we bring to the picture? Like, why does this have to just be about slavery? I totally get that. But at the same time, I'm not going to act like it didn't happen. I'm not going to act like it didn't exist, but I'm not going to dwell in it. And I'm not being a victim. I'm acknowledging what actually took place, like any other race, any other ethnicity, background, culture. They don't act like their history didn't happen. We can pretend all day, but I'm not going to play make believe. I'm living in reality. My slavery past doesn't determine my future today, but it definitely had some type of effect on it. But we are free men now, and we're going to keep it moving. And the 1619 project, you know, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, we're around in another 30, 40 years to see what the educational system is transforming into.
Yeah,
Exactly what pieces and what parts of Black America are going to be taught to the kids. Because, like I say, where we don't want to dwell on slavery, but we have to understand that America, the foundation of America, was built on that, so it can't leave, right? Because if they
right.
take it out, then America got to go, right. That's like trying to take Jesus out the Bible,
Yeah,
right? Most people think you don't got Christians in, right? So you take
exactly.
slavery out of America, you don't got
You
no
don't have
America.
America, because
So
we built this thing, man. Now they need to go ahead and run this reparations, man. You know what I'm saying?
so
We
and
built it.
that's why you got to keep dwelling on it, right?
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
why I say you got to dwell on it, because there's kids coming after, right? Then and that's where the dominant society is concerned, because all
right,
these kids coming up now ain't they
right,
haven't been the veil hasn't been put over them like it has been in previous years. You had the generation where we like the music but we don't like you. You know what I'm
right,
saying? But now we like the music and we like you, to the point where we want to marry you and have kids by you and march in the streets for your rights. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And the powers that be are looking at that like, wait a minute, there's
Yeah,
a shift coming on with these young folks. We need to try somehow to get them back in line. And they got to do it in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade for it to stick, because they
right.
feel like they're losing grip. They're losing
Yeah,
grip.
and they don't want to run that. Like King said, they don't want us to come for our money, man. And on behalf of my ancestors, I'm collecting. On behalf of my ancestors, at the end of the day, you know. So I mean, I think it's only right and it's only fair. And but on to the next subject though, because I
Right.
mean, we're gonna keep moving on. We're gonna keep moving on. Past slavery and to us as Black people living our fulfillment and prospering in life. But hey, did you get a chance to check out the first day trial for Trump for the impeachment, man? You get a chance to
Yeah, I
check out
did.
it?
I did.
Yeah,
I did. A lot of it is theater, right?
right,
But you just want to tell yourself, you I'm glad the trial came because you get to see people take everything and put it together. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you film a video and you have 5 different scenes and 5 different locations, and you don't necessarily see the whole picture. You hear so much
Right.
coming from different places, but what's the whole picture succinctly, where I can sit there and I can watch it and so I can break down every piece? I believe that this is eye-opening for re-Trumplicans.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For them.
Yeah.
This is for them. This ain't for Democrats. The
Yeah.
managers on the Democrat side are doing that for Trump supporters.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
laying it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, man, I mean, we all saw it. We all heard what he said. We all heard what happened as a result of the things that he said. And the lawyers right now is like, first of all, he was scrambling, trying to assemble a legal team because a lot of lawyers wouldn't even take his case. Like
Right.
people were just bailing out left and right. Because first
Well,
of
he
all,
don't
he
pay
doesn't.
nobody. He don't pay
Yeah,
nobody.
yeah, he don't pay anybody. And then on top of that, this is a tough defense. Like how you going how you going to defend this? This is a tough defense. It's like, come on, man. But then at the
And
same time, it's like the lawyers could have came with some substance the first day, but they're terrible, man. They were just, they were going on and on about nothing, man. And it's like they were like the guy that plays 3-card Monte, you know what I'm saying, or Find the Shell, try to find, like, he tells a story to distract you, from what's really going on, so you lose focus. But it's like, come on, man, like we know what's going on. We saw what happened. We live feed, and these guys are trying to pull the wool over our eyes, like we're slow or something like that. His attorneys were terrible, but at the end of the day, like I said, I mean, what choice does he have? Like nobody wanted to take his case, at the end of the day.
now, what I believe makes it even more difficult for Trump's attorneys is they're in there speaking to witnesses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's not like the witnesses are somewhere else waiting to be called, somewhere
Right.
else not watching the proceedings and watching what's going on. The witnesses are in the room.
Yeah.
So the lawyers, they're sitting there looking at the lawyer like, I don't know what y'all are talking about because we were
Yeah.
here. So we're trying to figure out what you guys are doing. But I believe it's a tactic. I believe they're hoping on the media to help it out, to help play it up and say, hey, the guy's already gone. Nothing to see here. Let's just let this ride. This is going to divide the country, yada, yada, yada. But I sit back and I say, who cares about his supporters? They lost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not supposed to worry about what happened. What happens to them going forward is what it is.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, it's going to further divide the country. It's like the country can't be more divided, man. We just, and I think a conviction would actually do more towards healing, and because at the end of the day, it is going to show that people are accountable for their actions, because everything he's done hasn't been accountable for his actions, to the point to where his lawyers, they're trying to argue that him being having a trial is unconstitutional. But nowhere in the Constitution does it say that someone can't be tried, because first of all, they impeached him before he left office. It wasn't like he was a private citizen, then they impeached him, and then they had him try to come back to court, while he was a private citizen, and impeached him. No, they impeached him before he even left office. So then, then there's matters to deal with. It's like, okay, you're out of office now, but you're not done. We got to finish what we started. So for them to say that it's unconstitutional, like I mean, I'm not a lawyer, I don't have a law degree, but I mean, that's common sense, and it's plain as day that it isn't unconstitutional, and then the Democrat defense management, the prosecutors, they were saying they were bringing up presidents of of other occurrences where officials got impeached on their last or no, were brought to trial on their last leg of being in office. Because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, so you could wait till your last week of holding the office and elected office and violate and wait till the last week, and just because you're in your last week, then you can't be tried or prosecuted. People can commit all type of crimes and get away with all type of things, man.
You know, it's kind of how they couch it, right? If Trump didn't commit a legal crime, he committed a political crime, right?
Right.
And when you commit a political crime, your judge and your jury is, you know, them bodies up there at Capitol Hill.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're saying they're not going to do their duty?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And to prosecute somebody who committed a crime that reaches the level of what they say, high crimes and misdemeanors, right?
Right.
So constitutionally, and that's where it begins to get weird, is constitutionally they're supposed to do this.
Right.
You know, them not doing it is what makes it people like to use this term, a slippery slope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If they don't do this, it makes it a slippery slope, because the next people coming in are going to act a fool.
Yeah.
And why not? And I believe he's already put a stain on it, and it's going to allow people to come and act a fool, because he did. And you know, I dare the Republicans to say anything, but they are, because the Republicans are much more duplicative and snakish than the Democrats are.
Yeah, I mean, both sides are, you know, both sides are kind of shady McGrady at the same time. But it's like, damn, like the Republicans, like it's like they just turn a blind eye to everything, and from a moral standpoint to a logical standpoint, they just turn the blind eye to everything, bro. It's like they just make stuff up out of the air. Like, how is this not constitutional for him to have to sit at trial? And then, so they spent the first day wasting America's tax money trying to vote whether they should proceed with this trial or not. Was it constitutional to impeach him and then have him have to attend trial? But at the end of the day, it was a waste of a day. It was a waste of the taxpayers' money, because they all voted that the trial should continue to proceed and he should continue, and evidence has to be presented and evidence has to be heard, and you know, his defense has to come. And here's my thing. So this guy, the orange face guy, so high C orange face McDonald Trump, right? So the guy has never testified. Like his last impeachment proceedings, he didn't testify. If you don't have anything to hide, you telling the truth, like, why don't you take the stand, my man? Like, he won't take the stand though, you know. He won't take the stand. They invited him again to, you know, so I don't understand, what is he, I mean, is he hiding? Is he afraid? Or
you know, what's the point for him? What's the point? What's the benefit for him to take the stage? He already has, his supporters are already on his side.
Right.
So going to take that stage, I'm sure someone's told him, hey, you don't win anything by going there amongst those vultures.
Right.
Just hang back, your people are with you. Just keep spitting the rhetoric, just keep spitting the same thing you've been spitting, and it's only going to build up and build up and build up over time.
Right.
Because he's always said, "Oh yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, they need. Oh yeah, no problem. I don't have any problem. I'll release the taxes. I'll testify. I'll do this." Man, he ain't done nothing. He hasn't done nothing.
Nothing. Still hasn't. Look, came through, floated through. Still hasn't released his taxes. You know,
they're under audit.
He's still under audit. You know, you gotta do the air quotes for the audit. You know. So then we go. That was the first day with his incompetent lawyers, my cousin Vinny lawyers, you know. So then we go on to day two with the actual trial, man, and the Democrats were tearing him up, man. The Democrats were really tearing him up in the impeachment trial, man. Like they played the video, you know, they played the video footage of the people actually um, breaking into the Capitol building. They showed that. They showed him leaving the chambers. Showed all the politicians leaving the chambers. Mike Pence being led out. You know. Meanwhile, the crazy people in the background yelling, you know, treason, treason. You know, kill Mike Pence. You know, and look, everybody, Trump sent us. We're here because of Trump. We're here, Trump. We're here doing what Trump told us, you know. But supposedly, you know, Trump's defense is his free speech. You know, he's allowed to say, you know, by the First Amendment rights, he can just say whatever he wants. But I mean, at the end of the day, you can't say whatever you want without consequences. We can all say whatever we want. I can say, I can say whatever. Walk up to the next guy and tell him that he's a little, bitch. You know what I'm saying? If he punched me in the eye, you know what I'm saying? I can't. But it's my First Amendment rights. I can say that. No, everything you say has consequences. And what he was saying up until the day of this insurrection led up to this. This was all build up. From communicating, he sent out 16 tweets from January 5th in between to January 6th, telling people to come out to the rally. It's going to be big. Come out, this is going to be history. We're going to make history, and he even said when inside the rally, when he was speaking, he even told the people, like, we're going to go to the Capitol. He said, I'm going to go with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be there with you, and we got to fight like hell. But
now,
for some,
listen, man, like people, we're people, right? And we understand how people can be manipulated, right?
Right.
If you at a concert and the motherfucker on stage saying, wave your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care, everybody's going to do it. Everybody's going to do it, and it's just that simple. When you're up there looking at somebody that you believe in, that you like, that you're a fan of, that you adore, however the people look at it, whatever he says is what's going to sweep through the crowd. It's going to sweep through just like a gust of wind that's going to touch everybody. And that energy is going to swell. And that's exactly what happened. The energy swelled. He did nothing. He took our red meat, had Rudy Giuliani up there throwing out red meat, had the other speaker up there throwing out red meat. Well, if you throw red meat to dogs, they're going to get it in.
Yeah. Rudy Giuliani. Yeah, we're gonna have to have trial by combat.
Right?
Like letting them know, like we got to fight. Then Trump, we're going to the Capitol, and then this is a quote from Trump right here. Right, he said when he was speaking, and he said, "And we fight like hell. And if we don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. You'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong." So to me, I mean, it's an open and shut case right there to me. Like I saw it, I saw it. I saw as the insurrection was happening live. They were saying they were contacting Trump. Trump wasn't responding. Going into 2 hours into the insurrection, he wasn't responding, And then in the trial, what they say in the trial is like Trump was sitting back. Some of the White House officials were around Trump, and they're saying he was ignoring the phone calls, and he actually made a phone call to one of the senators asking them to delay the election results.
Uh,
The electoral count.
Tuberville.
Yeah, yeah,
Tom Tuberville, the old football coach.
yeah. That's crazy, right? Like,
And even after that, Rudy Giuliani also called Tuberville again.
yeah. But none of them were like, um, hey, are you guys all right? We're gonna call for help for you guys. They were like, hey, can you stop the electoral count proceedings, please? You know, like acting like they just didn't see what actually was going on right there in the Capitol, just ignoring that, just want them to do their bidding. Like it's
Right.
real.
And the crazy part is they couldn't even complete the conversation with Tuberville because
Yeah,
he had to get escorted out the building. So
right,
now he's a double witness. You were
right,
in the building, and plus you got a phone call that you ain't gonna be able to lie about and say you didn't get the call.
right,
That's the thing. You can't say what didn't happen when you're up on Capitol Hill because everything is recorded. Everything.
right, right.
So
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 it's
something's
like,
gonna happen here.
yeah. So I don't get how I don't get how the Republicans that were running for their lives, that were ducking under tables, that were having bags over their heads so the insurrections didn't know who was who. I don't get how they're just going to let this just slide. Like he put their lives in danger. They were in danger.
Listen, listen. Who Republican voters or Republican politicians, who are their demographic? Who are their voters?
Yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. But at the same time, man, when it comes to my life, when it comes to my life, like in my thing, you got to stand up for something. Like from Cruz to how Trump disrespected his wife, and now he just like Trump just like completely disrespected his wife, called her ugly on national TV, and now
But
he's
that
just acting
shows you
like
the cold game of politics, right?
yeah.
That shows
But
you
it's
the
like,
cold
damn,
game of
have a
politics.
backbone, stand for something, bro. Like they're gonna make money regardless. They're gonna get to the bag regardless. But
I
come
need
on,
those voters. I can't alienate Trump voters. You heard Marjorie Green. She
right?
said this is Trump's party, nobody else's
Yeah,
party. So all them
yeah,
dudes that are back there and all them women that are in Congress and the Senate, this ain't their party. This is Trump's
right.
party. So
But my whole
so
thing is
those
Trump
senators,
lost.
no, they can't go against that.
Yeah, but my whole thing is Trump lost. So if it's Trump's party, now it's the party of losers. Now they're the
But
party
see,
of losers.
but
They
see,
lost everything.
this is what you call a cult following. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? This is
Yeah.
just a cult following, man.
Like
At this
it makes
point,
no
but
sense to me. Like if I'm going to follow something, which I'm not the follower, but if I'm gonna follow something, I'm gonna follow something that's winning, not losing. Like he lost the House, the Senate, everything. The presidency is like, so if you're still supporting this man like hook, line, and sinker, then you're supporting a loss, and and you're going to end up the loser every time.
by not supporting Trump, what voters am I losing? You know, if I'm a Republican, what do I lose by not supporting Trump?
You just lose about, you might lose like 20-some% or whatever, That's his base, about 27%. But now what you have to do is work on the people that are tired of the Democratic Party pushing like things with the transgender stuff, and tired of pushing like things where there's no gender anymore. With you tired of people pushing things that abortion and stuff like that. I mean, you just need to work on those people because there's still like the independent party has grown. Like that's what the Republicans don't understand. They turned off a lot of people. Like me, for instance, me myself, I've been done with the Democratic Party even before Obama was in office. I voted for Obama, but I wasn't a Democrat at the time. I had already took on an independent party. Now, so somebody like me, like if you're independent, it's kind of like you're in limbo. You know, so like the
What I've learned
Republicans,
is what I've learned is that these politics is yeah, you could be independent, you could say you're not affiliated, but you're still just in the game, right? Because
right,
it's all theater and it's a game at the end of the day. Because
right,
regardless of who you vote for, it's really just a conversation. You know what I'm
right,
saying? If you
yeah,
voted for Trump, cool. Let's have the conversation about it. We're gonna talk about how you ain't this, you ain't that, you ain't this, you ain't that. You voted for Biden, cool. We're gonna talk about how you're this, how you're that, how you're this, how you're that. But you still got to go to work tomorrow. You
right,
still gotta, do whatever it is on your agenda. Still got to get done. So
right,
it's like a lot of this is still politics, and there's still so many millions of people that don't vote at all
right,
because they just feel like regardless if they vote or not, what's going to happen is going to happen.
right.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
those are the
So
people that the Republicans need to be trying to recruit and trying to get to, because right now they're just going down in flames. And if they don't convict Trump right now, if they don't convict Trump, they're gonna look so suspect, man. They're gonna look terrible. It's like I can't beat with me personally, I can't identify with cowards. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. That's what it's looking like. They're looking like a bunch of cowards scared of a guy that paints his face orange. At the end of the day, and
so
they're
that's perspective, right, from an independent. But what's the
right,
perspective from somebody on the right?
right,
You know what I'm saying? If you on the right, you're probably telling those politicians, "Hey, you better stick with Trump. You
yeah,
better stick with Trump." When they go back to their areas where they govern, their people tell them, "Hey, you better stick with Trump."
yeah. But see, Trump. At the end of the day, it's not a. They're like the extreme right though. They're not even like they're like there's no logic in their thought process. They're not like they're not conservative right. They're not traditional GOP. They're like if you're the party of Trump, then you're extreme. First of all, if you're the party of Trump, you're ignorant politics because Trump doesn't know policies. Trump doesn't know politics. Like even Trump, like he doesn't get what actually happened in history, what happened in the past. Like he's not at all educated, not at all, and basically he just went through life pretty much cuddled and spoiled. At the end of the day, a rich man not living in the actual reality. Like I say, like I always say, the guy doesn't even know how to go to the store and purchase a loaf of bread like that. And you
But
can't get more
but but
common than that.
what makes the rural voter out in wherever Kentucky
Mhm.
with dirty hands and dirty feet
Yeah.
vote for Donald Trump with manicured hands
What,
and soft
what,
hands?
what makes it because because like I said, like he speaks from a standpoint of ignorance. He his words aren't polished. And he's unapologetic about the things he says and everything. So to them, it seems like he's the common person, but in actuality and reality, he's a paradox. He's far from common. He's far from reality. Like those people that feel like he's one of them and they're one of him, like he wouldn't even talk to them on a good day. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't even get up. They wouldn't even get up next to him, like to even shake his hand if he wasn't being a politician. Like they would never be in the same place as him ever. Like so, that's what cracks me up about the Trump super Trump loyalists. It's like the guy is not you. You're not him. He has no idea of your plight, of what you go through, and he doesn't. So if you don't have any idea, then how can you change someone's situation or how can you help make somebody's situation better if you don't even have an idea of what they're going through in the first place?
Yeah, politics. When you talk red and blue, it it, it blurs the line and it makes people go against their own best self-interest, right? Because
Right.
politics means Democrat means something, Republican means something, right?
Right.
Well, I just want to live the best life I can live, right? And
Right.
what the things I like may be represented on both sides, right?
Right.
So what
Yeah.
do I do at that point, right? Because I'm just trying to live, and once I accept one side and I get boxed in, do I need to become a cheerleader for them or just live
Right.
my life? And I think the issue is the people that become cheerleaders for a particular ideal, and
Hmm.
and and that's what that's when people sit back and say Mississippi, Louisiana, Kentucky, Alabama's. These are some of your poorest states in the union,
Yeah. The
but these are
poorest. Yeah.
red states. But
Yeah.
these are red states. So what I don't understand is your politics is going to keep you broke, and you're okay with that
Yeah.
because you've been broke, and don't blame it on we need a wall, we need to stop these illegals, these black kids and this rap music. Hands up, don't shoot's not real. Black Lives Matter. They're terrorists. That's not stopping y'all from. That's not what's making y'all poor. You've been poor.
Yeah.
What's making you poor is Republicans rich Republicans that got something in their mind that tells you, hey, go work hard and you can live the American dream too.
Right.
But you're poor. Your mama was poor. Her mama was poor. At
Right.
some point, something's gonna have to change. Say, hey, how come these Democrats they keep talking about handouts? At some point, y'all gonna have to get some of these handouts because you only get one go round in it.
Right.
I'm not turning nothing down. If it's
Right.
free money, free whatever coming from the state, I'm not turning it down. I
I
only
mean,
get
because
one chance to go through this shit. And fuck principle. At the end of the
right.
day, I'm principled to my family. Everything else is what it is.
Right. Exactly.
It's just
And
words. It's just words.
yeah, and they don't understand. Like they're like, we don't want handouts, whatever. It's like some of those people in those states are like some of the hardest working people, man. But like working in fields, working in factories, working in mines, picks and shovels, and and in the field, like working hard, But at the end of the day, they're all in the same place, and they don't understand that the people that have put a foot on their neck are sitting in the office, sitting in the air conditioned climate, wearing three-piece suits, tailored suits with nice linens and nice cuts, and they don't understand that those people they haven't worked hard a day in their life. They don't, or if they did when they were like, because they all have a story. Like I used to wash dishes when I was 13. I had a paper route when I was 11 years old. They all have that story. But like, let's be real. Like after high school, you floated through college, and after you floated through college, you ran public office. You didn't have to work hard the rest of your life. You just been collecting kickbacks from lobbyists. And meanwhile, we talk about welfare, but nobody. And that's all just a distraction. When they talk about welfare to kicking down people and giving people this or that, like, oh, it's just a handout. But then they don't talk about it's just a distraction while they go ahead and they hand over tons of money to the politicians, tons of money to corporations and corporate officers and executives. Those are the ones where all the money's going to. Not they're not. That's not our tax dollars isn't getting taken by welfare. It's a small percentage. With the
But see,
corporation,
everything you just said, you rarely hear any Republican say that,
right,
even though it's the facts. Uh,
right,
you guys gave a big, huge tax cut to the rich.
yeah,
How come they never say that? How come they never come out and say, yeah, we gave all this money to the rich and the poor man really didn't get nothing?
yeah,
But we told
because
them just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and work hard, get an education. One day you could be rich too.
right, they
Yeah, no,
don't
I'm
get
not
it.
buying that. I'm not
Yeah,
buying that because I understand 50, 60 years ago, some of these people that are in Congress are still using them degrees that they paid $10 for back when college
Right.
was super cheap, or back when they went to school for no money. And then now it costs 20,000, 30,000 a year to go to these schools, and they're expecting somebody to pull themselves up. It's
Hmm.
like how once y'all got money, you began to make it difficult for anybody else to get money after y'all,
Right.
because everything else got expensive. And who are you paying? You're paying that class. You're paying that class of them baby boomers that came before. Because especially with black folks, all of our wealth is concentrated in our parents' age group. They got all the money. The old
Right.
black folks that worked at the post office 30, 40 years, they was in the military 20, 25 years, and they got out of the military, went to work for the post office and work a state job, work at the Social Security office, work for the city. All those black folks got all the money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the number one employer for black people is the federal government, state
Yeah.
government. So the pensions and the money stacked up, they got it all. They got
Yeah.
it all.
But and then when you think about it, yeah, that's where it's at. But then at the same time, it's a small percentage, just a drop in the bucket, of what a politician's going to make that only makes 200,000 a year for salary, but it's for somehow they got a portfolio worth like 8 million, $9 million, and it's like, come on, man. Even the established well-to-do black people, professionals, retirees that do have some form of wealth is still just a small drop in the bucket compared. That's why it's so important that this that Trump is held accountable for his atrocities that he's committed, because for the last 4 years, all he did was, I mean, we're in this. People could be in denial all they want. They could be in talk about politics all they want, but it's ideology. It's not factual. The facts is that we're in a pandemic that could have been handled so much better and managed so much better than it was, and we're still feeling the effects of it. And actually, we're just still in the middle. We're not even in the middle stages yet. We're still in the beginning. We're still in the beginning of this
No,
whole
we're rounding
pandemic.
the turn. No, we're rounding the turn.
Yeah, they were saying that the first week when
You see
when
what
it
I'm
was
saying?
15, when it was
And
15
even
up.
recently, I heard a Republican, can't remember who it was, say, "Oh yeah, as we're rounding this turn on COVID."
Mm.
I can't remember what Republican said that the other day. They were once again we're rounding this curve,
Like
and
like
and
like
you,
like they
that's
don't
just
live
not
in
living
reality.
reality, man.
Yeah, yeah. And so I mean, the reality is we watch the people bust down doors. We watch the people smash police officers into doors. We watch the people snatching the face masks of the police officers. We watch the people chase police officers through the hallways. We watch people. I mean, they said there was one black officer, right? They said he said he got called the N word
15
17
times.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, 17 times that day. It's like, but you're supposed to be a patriot. And then my thing is too, is like, what happened to the love for all the police officers and everything? And all of a sudden you guys get to the Capitol, and then to me, what it looks like to me, what it is just adult children throwing a tantrum because they can't have their way. It's like he lost fair and square. There were recounts. There were hand recounts. The computers and whatnot. There were no hacks. None of that. He lost. It is what it is. Your candidate didn't win. The person you wanted to win didn't win, and the person you wanted to win is throwing a tantrum. So instead of being a person with your own mind and sound mind, you're going to be a follower. And like some of the sound bites, some of these people were so ignorant, man. Some of the sound bites that they got of some of these people, like looking over the paperwork and You know,
Yeah. They were like, yeah, I know we can find something in there.
yeah, like,
It,
like what you gonna do? What you gonna do with this
it,
information you find? What are you
yeah, it
what are
just
you
sounds
about
like a
to
gaggle of conspiracy theorists, man. Just a
do?
gaggle of
Crazy.
conspiracy theorists.
That
Just
doesn't make
up
any
there
sense.
trying to put something together. These are people that, I mean, I believe what you're seeing is a lot of people that took their social media and brought it into real life, right? That's
Right,
what you see out there is all the people that would be a QAnon chat. They took the
right,
chat to the street, and that's what it looked like, a bunch of chaos, a bunch of people saying anything, a bunch of randomness, but everybody agreeing with each other, regardless
right.
of what they were doing. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like a chat room that they said, "Oh, let's make this chat room live," and
Right.
that's what happened. It was a mess.
Yeah, one of the they a live in person QAnon chat, like
Exactly,
virtual. They went virtual.
exactly.
Made
Everybody
no
typing at
sense.
the same. You see how the notes be going fast, the chat
Yeah,
moving fast. Everybody was out there. Everybody was out there yelling, and that was the
yeah.
chat right there.
But my
And
whole
then
thing is,
exactly,
people are
go ahead.
crazy, man. They have so much rage in them, man. It's like, what is really going on with your life that you're that angry, man? It's like they have so much rage and they really feel like they're the Patriots. It's just amazing to me, man. Like how idiotic these people could be, man. It
But
makes
man, you know, it's a lot of times you gotta sit back and think, man. Some of these people come from a family or come from a history where they really, really believe in all the stuff they say about America, man. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
When they hear the
yeah,
national anthem, they cry. They say the Pledge of Allegiance. They, they'll kill for the country. I'll
yeah,
kill for America. I'll do this. I just don't understand sometimes people's buy-in to this politics in general. I ain't never give a dollar to no politician, man. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And it's all because I just I know it's real. I know you guys have influence and you guys create policy and have control over, the goings on in society, but I still don't believe you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because I just know you guys are so flawed at the end of the day. And it's like, why can't we see those flaws before you win? Why we gotta
right,
wait till you win and then we find out all the ignorant shit that you do? You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? It's like, why can't we? Like, there's no people out there that are just good folks. It's like, it's kind of like how you look at preachers that get caught up cheating, stealing money, messing with hoes. It's, man, how did you get to be the head of the church?
right,
You know what I'm saying? You went all these years and nobody sniffed you out.
right.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? It's like,
they're
what a
good at
good dude.
they're good at the
Yeah,
cover
yeah.
up. They're good.
Right.
They're
It's
good
like
at the cover up, man. But
I'm
look,
not sitting in front of no preacher or nothing that you tell me, oh yeah, he been married 3 times. Man, this ain't the church I need to be in. Give me to the church. The cat has only got one wife, only been married one time. I just can't. I can't buy none of it because it's so many lies. Like you said about Ted Cruz earlier, man. The dude told you your wife was ugly, and that your dad had something to do with somebody getting killed, right? JFK or some shit.
yeah.
Come on,
His dad.
man.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on,
He
man. And you
disrespected his
still riding
family.
for him?
It makes no sense, man. These people are like they have no backbones, no spines. They slither, man. They're they're,
Right.
they're, they're disgusting to me, man. But moving along, man. With this being Black History Month, you know, with this being Black History Month, we lost a lot of important people, man.
Yeah.
Lost a lot of important people this year already. Rest in peace of Cicely Tyson. And
All right.
she passed away recently. She was a staple, in American cinema. And then we have here, Miss Mary Wilson of the Supremes. She just passed away the other night, and unfortunately, um, Mary Wilson, she was a nice lady. I actually had a chance to meet her a few times.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, my a mutual friend of ours, DK.
Oh,
He was
okay.
actually the one. Yeah, he actually found her. He was the one who found her. That's his godmother. So he received a call from his childhood friend Pedro to go check on his mother, as she lives in Vegas, and Pedro couldn't get through to his mom, and so DK went over to check on her, and he found her lifeless, unresponsive. So and we lose a piece of American history. I mean, she was one of the founding Supremes, Diana Ross and the Supremes. Some of the backbone of the Motown sound. Motown Records. I mean, they just exemplified greatness in America, a piece, not a chunk of American history. They contributed.
How old was she?
And
How old was she? 76?
yeah, she was 76 years old.
When you think about it, she got put on at like 16.
Yeah,
So she been
yeah,
on 60 years.
yeah, yeah,
60 years in the game.
yeah.
I mean,
And
that's longevity. Go ahead.
yeah, and I, when I met her, the times I met her, she was very nice. She was still elegant, classy, down to earth person, and you know, she was part of a foundation. I mean, if there were no Diana Ross and the Supremes, you could honestly say there might not be a Motown Records. I mean, at the end of the day, they were a major contribution to American music. So with that, I want to say, rest in peace to her, and she'll be missed. And I want to send my condolences to my boy Pedro, and DK, because I know he's going through it. Because like I said, he was the one that actually found her. So
Wow, that's
you
crazy,
know,
man.
yeah. So that is touching, and we lost an icon. The Supremes are our American icon. Diana Ross and the Supremes, man. They went around the world. They were stars around the world, around the globe. They touched down in different continents, and they seen levels of success that people to this day haven't seen. So
Right, and
you
it's
know,
a trip when you start looking at things and do a little bit of research, and you find that what were there like nine different members in the Supremes?
yeah, she was the founder. She was
Right,
there.
right. She
You
was
know what I'm
one of the
saying?
originals. Yeah, because as you
Yeah,
look at you see her, Florence Ballard. They're
hmm,
kind of the staples for a long time with Diana Ross, and then
yeah,
that third one, it gets to be Diana and Mary, and then that third one begins to change, every
yeah,
now and then. But yeah, they got hits, man. They got hits. They brought up a whole culture, a whole generation. Because I
yeah.
remember as a child listening to all the Supreme songs, and you know,
Right,
it, I don't know if it's just the genre or the time of music, but it's hard to find any of the songs that weren't a hit.
right.
You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
mean, they were pumping them out. They made Barry Gordy a lot of money, man. They were pumping them out, and this is my thing about them too. Like they gave girls, the young black girls, they showed them that you can be elegant. They were inspirations. And they handled themselves with class. It wasn't about trash. It was about they were polished, fashionable, always looked on point, and they could be an inspiration to young girls. I'm sure they inspired a lot of young ladies, to want to be like them, to carry themselves like them. And today, like today's artists, it's completely different direction of inspiration, you know, like they
Well,
they were
when
from a
when
time of elegance, of black excellence.
yeah, when somebody passes like this, it makes you kind of look at the whole music industry, right? And say
Right.
who today kind of reminds you of the Supremes, and then I thought, like, is there even a girl group out there?
Mm.
I
Not
couldn't even think
anymore,
of a
man.
girl group. You see what I'm
Not
saying?
anymore.
I couldn't even think of an R&B girl group like right off the top that's really just singing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So to me, with all of these greats, starting to fall, I believe there should be a renaissance of even on the male side too. Where 5-man groups at? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Where the 3-man groups at? Where the 5 heartbeats at? You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
I think we need to get back to a time like that, as far as music is concerned, because to me, either people are going to go back to listening to that stuff again, and that music just going to become popular again, or producers are going to have to start producing something that is going to stay in power, because the
Right.
stuff nowadays doesn't have staying power.
Right. Yeah, man. Well, like I say, once again, I send my condolences to her and her family, and my boy Pedro and my boy DK. I send my condolences. And on that note, we're gonna wrap up this episode. And you guys could like, subscribe, check us out. Leave comments, give us up or down, dislike. If you send a dislike, though, tell us what you dislike about it. And I want to thank everybody that's tuning in and viewing us. And we look forward to building with you and catch us right back here on the next show. And on that note, salute to Big OC. Salute to my boy
All
Ratio.
right,
Appreciate you in the background. And I'll catch y'all on the next show, man.
peace.